Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show, Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero and pop culture. So that's movies, TV shows, video games, and we talk about the news and speculation, all that fun stuff. I am MODOK, your resident Fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, and I'm joined by the video game designer, anime expert, and lover of all things superhero, and that's my good friend Ladi. Ladi, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. Can't wait to talk about this thickness that showed up in Hawkeye, and of course the
Super
the
thick.
news.
Yeah, we're talking about Hawkeye, episode 4, and in honor of Hawkeye episode 4, um, and for this 30th episode of the Supercast, we're gonna title it "A Wild Yelena Has Appeared," or, or is it "A Wild Yelena Appears," as in Pokemon? And so that all makes sense if you've seen the episode, and we're going to talk about that later on. But first, as always, we talk about the news. Every week, new things are happening in pop culture when it comes to superhero things. And we will do a rundown of the news. So, for instance, Kevin Feige has confirmed that Charlie Cox will indeed be Daredevil in the MCU.
I believe it when I see
we got
it.
we got reports of MODOK coming to Ant Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Destin Daniel Creighton, the director of Shang Chi, he signed a big deal with Disney, and what does that mean for Marvel going forward? There's going to be a spin-off series for the Batman starring Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Speaking of spin-offs, The Boys gets an animated spin-off that's, I guess, an anthology. Letitia Wright could be leaving Marvel because, because of vaccines. Uh, com- the comic book legend George Perez has cancer, an inoperable cancer, and we talk about him and his legacy. Amy Pascal asked Tom Holland if he wanted to be in Spider Verse 2, and Aquaman 2 wraps its filming. That's all that news we're gonna get into right now. You ready, Lottie?
Yes.
we got a list. Let's go. Let's get through it. Um, Dang it, Charlie Cox. He could possibly be the second most talked about person or third most talked about person when it comes to Spider-Man: No Way Home.
The
After,
man,
well,
the myth, the legend.
after Toby and Andrew, we've been talking about Charlie Cox a lot, especially having not seen one shred, one thing about him actually being in No Way Home. But we've been speculating about what he could be in the MCU. And finally, 10 days ahead of the movie actually coming out, Kevin Feige says that Charlie Cox will be Daredevil in the MCU, quote, whenever he appears. So there you go. Confirmed Charlie Cox in No Way Home. Or is he? But he's definitely confirmed to be in the MCU. All right. I mean, come on. Lottie. They keep playing with us. I'm trying to figure this out. Why they gotta play with us like this?
The man, the myth, the legend that is Charlie Cox. Are we sure that he is not some like supreme entity that is just visiting us from another dimension?
It's
Because it seems
he's definitely manifesting his own destiny here. I
exactly
think.
like stuff that everybody else seems like it was not possible. There's no way they're gonna put this person in this TV show. No way the TV show. Somehow, somewhere he's defying his own destiny
Yeah. Well, I'll tell
and
you.
has made it into
I'll tell you one thing. There's. I think Hawkeye is gonna tell us where this goes, but because you know all the rumors about Kingpin showing up. So if Vincent D'Onofrio shows up as Kingpin, you know what's going down with Charlie Cox and the MCU. Um, So that could this mean, does this mean that we're going to get a season 4 possibly of the Netflix Daredevil? Are they going to actually bring it all into the fold? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the real big. I don't even want to say question. I think it's sort of a given. Like if they don't do that, it's the only thing that will cause MCU fanboys to and fangirls to riot over more is if Andrew and Toby don't show up in No Way Home. But
Yeah.
aside from that, if they say, oh, Daredevil, he's just gonna show up in She Hulk and you'll never and that's it. Uh, I think Kevin Feige will just he'll have to go around with security, possibly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and if Charlie Cox is going, the other question is if Charlie Cox is going to be in it, then obviously they got to bring back the cast, right?
Yeah.
And and so this actually brings us to like a kind of a side issue with what Feige says about. So once he says this one Netflix character is going to, or the actor that plays this one Netflix character is going to be in the MCU, then obviously you have to ask, well, what about the other Netflix people? What about everyone else? Did you see that meme where you know there's the meme where the person's like, oh hey, Kevin Feige says other Netflix actors are possibly in there, and then it shows a guy like Iron Fist trying to go after the girl, and the guy gets between them, and so maybe Iron Fist could possibly, maybe that's the one that everyone's like, no, no thanks. Um, I don't know,
Yeah. Okay.
I know everyone sort of has their love of the Netflix shows. This, how soon and are these going to be obviously different iterations or how close to that? I wonder about that.
I want see you might be like, I might be going a little bit off topic, but I've already had a discussion with my friend Anthony when we talked about this earlier today about Charlie Cox, and we talked about how we will love to see Hit Monkey in Shang-Chi 2. Think about this. What if in Shang-Chi 2 they have to get into Japan, and um what's it is Wong, right?
Wong, yes.
Yeah, Wong is like, I know a guy. And they're like, who's the guy? They get a knock on their door and they open the door. And they think they're looking like, where is he? And they look down and see a monkey in a suit. And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah, this is the guy. Hit monkey.
I mean, that would be cool. The only downside to that, and this is the cold rain being poured on
I,
your fire, is that wasn't a Netflix show. It's
I
a
know.
Marvel. Yeah.
Uh,
But you know what? They're in the multiverse. All sorts of things could happen. That's the thing is, hope springs eternal here, and they very well could bring all of those characters back. I think everyone's really looking more towards Charlie Cox and John Bernthal, but honestly, John Bernthal's he's too big right now. I don't unless they're going to be like, hey, we're going to put you in a movie, so like definitely suit up for the TV show. John
Mhm.
Bernthal is like he's doing big things right now, so it may be a little hard to get him in there. But I'm hopeful. I like this. I like the fact that Feige is just like, oh yeah, sure, we're gonna do that. He literally said more toys in the sandbox. So I'm like, well, if that's your attitude, then hell yeah, let's go. So I'm very optimistic. So we'll find out more in the future. In fact, when we talk about this next time we talk about Charlie Cox, we will. I refuse to talk about him again unless he shows up. Until he shows up again in was it No Way
This-
Home? If he shows up
this-
then we'll talk about him again. Until they verify he's in something else, that's the one we'll talk about him again. Agreed?
Be careful, man. Charlie Cox has a way of defying his destiny. He will somehow find a way into our conversation.
I mean, the next time we talk about him, we're gonna be like, God dang it, he was not in No Way Home. That's probably gonna be the next thing we say. So we'll see. We got a week. We're gonna find out. So If we find out anything else, we're gonna come back and talk about that then. So MODOK, the mental organism designed only for killing. Uh, the big, the big-headed hover chair guy, who has a little animated show on Hulu that's gonna go nowhere. Um,
Unfortunately.
but apparently, in live action, he's gonna show up big time in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Um, I didn't think we talked about Jim Carrey possibly being it, and that seemed like a brilliant idea. But it appears that he will not in fact be that, according to these sources to the direct, that MODOK will be in Ant-Man 3, but it will not be played um, by Jim Carrey. Instead, to be voiced, mind you, by Corey Stoll, who played Yellow Jacket in the first Ant-Man.
So, may I ask? So we're getting MODOK and Kang.
MODOK and Kang.
It's a lot.
Are you surprised though? Like think about look, MODOK and Kang in the same movie. That's pretty like slow going considering that the Sinister almost the entire Sinister Six is coming out of the multiverse in No Way Home. Like
Oh yeah, you're
if
right.
you think about this, I mean, honestly, I very seriously doubt that MODOK's the only weird out of the way, uh, bad guy or good guy that we're gonna see in the MCU going forward, but particularly with Ant Man, because Ant Man is almost explicitly associated with time travel and alternate universes. And the fact that Kang is in there means that just like in Multiverse of Madness, just like in No Way Home, the multiverse being open means all sorts of goofy ass, probably wouldn't work in the actual MCU villains can show up. And I'm like, yes, let's first of all, fuck yeah. That's my first reaction to this. Fuck yeah. I was thinking like, how are they gonna do MODOK in live action? And they're gonna animate him obviously because he's a big ass head in a hover chair with some tiny
Yep.
arms and legs. And also, I'm just like, what's a better place to put a goofy ass villain like MODOK than in Ant Man and the Wasp, which is a goofy ass, a fun goofy ass superhero story. Where that
Yeah.
makes the most sense to me possible. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, you're not going to see him in fucking Falcon and or Captain America 4. That I mean, it wouldn't make any sense. I mean, it will because obviously Captain America can beat the shit out of MODOK too,
Yeah.
but it's not the right tone. The right tone is for this to me, and I know you love Ant Man. I love Ant Man for the fact that it's much lighter than the
Mm.
other shows have been. So it doesn't seem weird when goofy shit happens in there. And I also here's the other thing. I just want to see Luis explain MODOK showing up. Just you know what I'm saying? I just want to see his friend Luis explain MODOK showing up because it's bound to be
Oh
fucking
my god.
hilarious. It's bound to be fucking hilarious.
And I will
It's
love.
like this big dude. He had the
It,
big old head, and he said like
he
in
had
the
a big
front
old
of
head.
power chairs. He's really weird, but he's really kind of cool though. And I was like, hey, you got the laser. He got the laser thing, and I was like, pew. He's like pew, and it was really kind of cool, but I like dodged it. That's what I'm
Then he
talking
came
about.
up to Louise, and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'll be like,
And it's like yeah, and then Scott was all like he all like went small, and I was like, hey yo, you gonna give me the super suit or anything? And like, oh no, okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, if look, I'm just saying, like, it's so fucking goofy that Luis is gonna make it fucking badass. That's all I'm talking about. Let's go. Like, I'm like the
him,
more I think about it, the
him,
more
and
excited I
Ti.
am.
I can't wait to because Ti is going to say some funny shit too when they see MODOK for the first
I
time.
don't know if Ti is gonna be in this one.
Oh, he's not.
I don't think
Oh,
he is. I
oh
you know
no.
I don't think he is. I'd heard some shit. He
Uh-oh.
he may have he may have disinvited himself through some action through some personal actions. I can't confirm that. I'm just saying it could be possible. But hey, David Dasmalchian is going to be there, and that's my dog. So yeah, last time we saw David Dasmalchian in the MCU, of course, was in What If, uh, when he was one of the few that was still surviving on the zombie world. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm fucking. We barely know anything. I'm just happy. The more I think about this, the more MODOK and Ant-Man 3 sounds like an awesome idea. So let's do it. Let's go. That's all I'm saying. All right. So when we find out more about that, we will definitely share that with you because MODOK is awesome. So Shang-Chi was awesome. Agreed. All
Yes.
right. Who anyone disagreeing? I just want you to know respectfully. All film is subjective, and you have your right to own your. But you're wrong. It's awesome. Shang-Chi is a badass MCU film, and it only makes sense that the director of Shang-Chi would get what I call the Ryan Coogler treatment. So we heard like earlier in the year, Ryan Coogler signed this big multi-year deal, production and directing deal and shit with Disney because Black Panther was awesome and Black Panther 2 is shaping up to be badass and all this stuff. They're going to do a spin-off TV show and everything. So Destin Daniel Cretton, he gets the same sort of treatment with his production company and everything. He's going to be, specifically, he's going to be doing Shang-Chi 2 and developing the spin-off of Shang-Chi, the TV series. And also, he's got some other little development things going on because he's not just interested in just doing Marvel stuff. He's going to want to do other things with
Mm-hmm.
Disney and Disney Plus. I'll remind you when we were talking about Shang-Chi much earlier in the year that I told you I'd seen one other movie. I've only seen one of his other movies, but it was awesome, and that was with Michael B. Jordan. It's called Just Mercy, and if you have a chance, you really should see it. It's based on inspired by a true story. Really good. This guy's in my opinion, he's a great up and coming filmmaker, and so this is just they were successful. They are saying, all right, you're successful. We want to stay on this. We want to stay in the Destin Daniel Cretton game. So here's some here's many stacks. We're gonna pull up the dump truck full of money at your door, make things for us and make us money. And I, for one, am happy about this. What say you, sir?
Oh yeah. Listen. As long as I get to see more Shang-Chi, get a TV show and all this stuff, and I want Disney to embarrass Nickelodeon because this is disgraceful. You know, again, I lean on my friend Anthony. Shang-Chi proved that we could have a live action Avatar movie, The Last Airbender. Shang-Chi proved it. And to see that Disney's going all in, we're going to get a TV show and we're going to get a sequel, down for it. We'll definitely love to learn more. I hope the TV show goes more into the fantasy side. What do you think?
Well, I think that there's several ways to go with it. Obviously, the Ten Rings is they've been said they're coming back, so it could be something to do with the Ten Rings. It could it could lean more into the whole the hidden village aspect of it. It could, and because it in some ways Shang Chi really sort of borrows some aspects of the Iron Fist mythos. It
Hmm.
could lead into that too. It would be. To me, he wouldn't have to get rid of Iron Fist, but could maybe introduce the immortal weapons. There are many aspects, and basically there are many aspects of Iron Fist and Shang Chi. Hell, the rings. Where are they from? There's the dragon, the whole dragon. Where's the dragon from? Are we gonna get Fin Fang Foom? There's like so many places to go with this
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
that that I think that there's. Oh, yeah,
And he gets a big name drop in the game that you can't wait to play.
Oh, and yes, yes, yes. I just got that. So, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Um, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many places they could go with this, and it's not just about Marvel content, but there's so many places within Asian cinema, Asian fantasy cinema, that this movie Shang-Chi only just barely touched. Like, only just like you wouldn't say that it's a crouching tiger, a hidden dragon. It's close. It there's many aspects of it that it definitely is inspired by Crouching Tiger, but it's not. I don't think Shang-Chi is truly a true wuxia fantasy epic. It borrows much from it, but it is not. And we could very well see, like, maybe it's a prequel. Maybe we see
Hmm.
Wen Wu. I'm not saying we will, because I mean, I doubt Tony Leung wants to, you know, kind of slum it on Disney Plus. But I mean, could we see the Ten Rings in the past? Could we see the Ten Ring? Could we see Wenwu get his ass whooped by the Black Panther? I'm just saying.
Oh.
I'm just saying. We it could happen. So there's all. I'm just to me. I like when talent that gets in there, gets a big W, gets rewarded for it. Because that was a big win for Disney this year with Shang-Chi. And that big win needs to be rewarded the same way, like I said, that other people who came in and got a big win for Disney got the reward. So I'm down with
Hmm.
it. Let's go. And I'm happy for him. I can't wait to see what they do with all that. Speaking of spinoffs, the Batman. I feel like it was supposed to be out this year, if I or this year it was supposed to be out, and of course, pandemic, all that stuff. Everyone knows the whole drill. But we've seen some pretty great stuff from it, and one of the most prominent things we saw in that trailer that we got at DC Fandom was the
Hmm.
Penguins squaring off against the against Batman, and not coming out for better for it. Let me just say, it looked. I remember I said it looked like Michael Myers was stalking up on Penguin, Penguin in
Yeah.
there. But we found out that Colin Farrell seems to have been signed on to be in a HBO Max exclusive series featuring the Penguin, and in fact, I believe it's going to be the kind of the rise of the Penguin within Gotham's criminal underworld. And um, first of all, fuck yeah. Can, is
Hmm.
that fair? Is that a fair statement? Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Cause he looks. First of all, he doesn't look like any penguin I've ever seen before. Not at all. You notice in most penguins they really try to make him look like a bird or something like that. I don't feel like that's what Oswald Cobblepot looks like when Farrell is portraying him. Second of all, Colin Farrell's an awesome actor. He doesn't get near enough credit that he should, but he's great. He's a chameleon when he wants to be. And third, the Gotham City that we're seeing in the Batman looks like the Gotham City everyone always talks about that they want, right? It's it's like
Yep.
it's not, in the Joker, how grimy and shitty in the
Yeah.
Joker it looked. It looks like that Gotham City. And if we're gonna be, slumming it, watching the rise of the Penguin from whatever he started, he's a rich guy in the comics, but rising up to kind of take over, and that there's possibly the Joker was there or something like that. Who the fuck doesn't want to see that? I'm excited as shit for this personally.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've been excited for this Batman movie. Like honestly, I tell people this all the time. This is the most excited for a Batman movie I've been probably ever because I I'm gonna just be, this might be once again hot take. I feel that the Dark Knight trilogy was extremely overrated.
You are just trying to take all of the shots from fanboys right now. Like
I'm just. I mean, take literally. If you take may his soul rest in peace. Help me out. What's his name again?
Heath Ledger.
Leaf Ledger from the Dark Knight trilogy. We'll remember that trilogy in a very different light. Because the first movie was boring. It was. First movie was not. It was boring. The second movie was good because of Heath Ledger. But all you were like, if you like ask anybody to quote that movie, all they remember is the Heath Ledger lines. They don't remember anything else about that movie. The third movie, the only reason why that movie was a blockbuster because everybody wanted to watch it because of May His Soul Rest in Peace, Heath Ledger.
Hmm.
Like if you take Heath Ledger out of that trilogy, that movie trilogies is not good. It is not good. And this is the first time I feel like this is an actually Batman movie I'm excited for. Like the trailer gives me goosebumps. Every single character looks fucking amazing. It's oh man, and I like you said, I love this Cobblepot. I love this penguin. Oh man, I can't wait. The whole entire movie feels like I'm going to be at the edge of my seat. The grittiness, the darkness. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Hurry up and come out. When does it come out again?
Oh, it's comes out the Batman comes out. Oh gosh, now you're gonna make me actually look it up. All right, so looks like it's going to be releasing March 4th. So we're a few months out from this
Yeah, I
from
can't
this
wait.
thing.
I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait.
But that probably me. I mean, if they're talking about this right now, again, this is. I don't think this has been verified by anybody. This is just insider information. But that means whenever we're getting insider information, they've spent a decent amount of time working on this. Like maybe some scripts have been written or something like that. So not we're not going to see it before the end of 2022, but maybe early 2023, maybe in the first quarter.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
that is and as an aside, this is sort of DC starting to really kind of get into the game, and I love to see that. That's my thing. I want again. I know I keep saying we're the Marvel Shieldcast. I really, really want DC to get their shit together and
Yeah.
be cranking stuff out the way Marvel is. I want to be watch. I want to be like, ooh, shit. I gotta watch. I want to watch She Hulk, and also I want to watch Gotham Central in the same week. I want that. I said
Yep.
like trust. So I kind of realized like, man, next year they maybe are going to start getting their shit together because there's three DC things coming out next year. Three
We
DC
need
movies.
we need the competition. We need it.
Absolutely. Kevin Feige will tell you we need the competition. If everyone's excited for DC things, they'll be excited to see Marvel things because they're all playing in the same kind of light. They're all in the same lane, you know.
Yep.
And here's the other thing: it's not actually a competition in the sense that we normally think. It's more like, you know, because no one's gonna put Batman up against Spider Man in the same weekend. That's just not gonna happen.
Oh yeah, that's never
There's
gonna
too
happen.
many millions of dollars at stake. Too much money is at stake to be playing that kind of game. So they're gonna. It's really more like if you're a fan of superhero things, you literally want them to be firing on all cylinders. In quote competition, because that just means that every other month you're gonna have something new that's awesome, or
Yep.
hopefully awesome. So, um, whoever greenlit this, good job, sir or madam, and thank you for getting our hopes up for something that's probably going to be really cool. So, but as we find out more about this, we will come back and talk about it. Yet another spin-off thing we want to talk about, and that is for the boys. But we already knew that there was going to be the boys live action spin-off that essentially I I like to think of it as the real world slash road rules or whatever for the new generation, but and also with superpowers. So
Yep.
a a bunch of young people in college age that have superpowers competing to try to get contracts. As we saw in season 2 of The Boys, that it's very competitive to have different cities to be protected by different superheroes, and
Yep.
they're kind of like the young and promising ones.
Nobody ever wants Cleveland.
I mean, LeBron barely wanted Cleveland, so and he's from there. So I'm being facetious. He wanted to be there, but like just couldn't win until that last time. But anyway, um, so yeah, there's going to be an animated spinoff, and it sounds like it's like an anthology, and it's been given to a bunch of like comedic writers or whatever to sort of play around in the boys area, which I think that's first of all I think that's fucking brilliant because isn't the boys basically some people sort of talking shit about superheroes? Is it pretty much that? Like if you watch the boys, it's all about like um sort of taking the things we understand about DC and Marvel superheroes and that sort of thing, and
Yeah.
just really kind of shitting on it, like hard. And so now they've given sort of a blank slate of, if you will, to these various comedians and whatever to sort of tell stories within this world that's kind of horrible with really bad acting superheroes. And also it's animated, so they can like kind of like with Invincible, they can sort of do all sorts of shit with it. So
I mean, what else? I mean, what more can they? Yeah, I mean, let's be. I know they could do a lot more, but let's be honest. The live action show was kind of on the was yeah.
it's a,
They're
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
gonna go crazy. Just
Yeah, I just like just imagine if, think about the most ridiculous. And remember there's many many ridiculous violent over the top crazy moments in Invincible. And
hmm
the two scenes that I'll call out is in the first scene the you know Omni Man versus all the other heroes and
Yep.
how ridiculous and crazy that was, but also Omni Man uh, versus Invincible.
Yeah.
And this has been, and remember that this was earlier in the year, so these guys have had, they've had some time to sort of get in their mind. They can do anything, kind of anything, because it's just
Yep.
it's just ink, pencils and ink and shit like that. And again, they're comedians, and some geeky. And let's see if I'm remembering some of the people who were kind of name checked in there. Um, let's see who they name check here. Uh, yeah, uh, Aquafina, Alana Glazer, Evan Goldberg, and Seth Rogen. They're Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen. They are the producers on Invincible. It, and then they said Justin Roiland. Justin Roiland, where you know him from? Uh,
Name sounds familiar. Not sure.
he's one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty. Um, and or if I'm saying that right, did he actually co-create it? Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Yes, co-creator of Rick and Morty. And so there's a bunch of names that are already in adult animated stuff anyway, and you're just saying, hey, go play in this extremely R-rated superhero world and just tell some ridiculous stories. And also the name of it is Diabolical. So, so the mind could just wander about and be like, what the fuck are they possibly going to do with this? And
All I
man,
know is gonna be fucking crazy.
yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. So it's early days. I know we like to talk about things with a little more depth, but I mean, come on, right?
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk about it more when we learn more. You know what? This is becoming a little too regular on this show, but we're gonna do it anyway. Uh, it's time to give Letitia Wright the business. uh, I think I tweeted my reaction to this story was essentially that Letitia Wright really gonna fumble the bag over something stupid like the vaccine, over something being stupid about the vaccine. She really gonna, she got the bag right, and she gonna
Yeah.
just throw it away because of vaccines. But okay, so there's a I guess a bit of rumor behind the scenes rumor from Giant Freaking Robot, and they're usually all on point about things. That she is possibly or probably going to leave Marvel over the vaccine requirement.
Like this, like during the movie
No, like
or
I
after
mean,
the
no,
movie.
she's contractually obligated to finish out this movie. It's in her contract, so she'll finish it out. But they aren't required to bring her back for anything.
Wow.
So the way the contract, as I understand it, work is that she done that. They're like, hey, sign this contract for X number of movies, and if they decide to put her in the movie, it's on her contract, so she has to come back, but they don't have to put her in anything. And if she voluntarily gets out of the contract, I'm sure they'll let her go because, god damn it, is she a fucking distraction right now? I understand, and I'm sympathetic about the whole, um, the fact that she hurt herself, that she's been injured, you know, kind of severely for this movie. I'm sympathetic about that. Not sympathetic about voluntarily being a douchebag about the fucking vaccine. And then I don't even think she's crying about it. I think there's a bunch of people crying for her on her behalf online, but it's a fucking choice you make. There are rules, and
Yep.
if you don't want to fucking follow them, then there you go. And I'll say this: just recast her. I like Shuri, but man, she gonna fumble the bag. Somebody else will pick that bitch up and run it back in
Yep.
for a touchdown. I I mean, look, in Hollywood right now, I'm telling you, and I watch a decent amount of TV and streaming and stuff like that. I could, I'm telling you, I could think of five. I could think of five black women who are acting right now that are around the right age that could do that job.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. Did you know Letitia Wright before Black Panther?
No.
All right. Will you miss her when she's gone? That
Honestly, I already kind of written her off. To
yeah.
be honest with you.
She hold.
Just-
I have to be honest. Don't really care about her at all. It's she's messing up my franchise that I want to see. So if she fucking up Black Panther, she's already set it back. And again, it's not her fault. She got hurt, but on her behalf, it's already being set back. Um, and she's gonna be on this stupid anti-vax shit. She can keep it moving. And again, they can recast her, and it won't bother me at all. That's
Yep.
just keeping it real. So you wanna you could this is the thing. Here's the fucked up thing about it is they were even setting her up so that maybe she was gonna be the star of the franchise, right? They in the comics she could have been that, right? And they were even setting her up that I've heard that she's gonna be the lead or the co-lead of Black Panther 2. And now she done talked herself right out of a fucking job and a paycheck. So
Yeah.
yeah, no sympathy over here. I'm just like, man, this whatever's gonna happen. Could you just fucking make it happen and get on with it?
I mean, the thing about it is, some people got like some very things to say about this, but it's sort of like with athletes, Unfortunately, most athletes, you had to take the vaccine. If you didn't take the vaccine, you had to do certain things,
Unless you're
which she,
unless you're Aaron Rodgers, then you can do whatever the fuck you want.
yeah. Well, but you saw what happened. He got suspended.
Yeah, but I mean, is he vaxxed? Is he vaxxed now? Because I feel
No.
like that motherfucker is right back. So I mean, The thing
But
is,
it's you
the
don't
thing,
have to. There are other NFL players that are unvaccinated. It's just Aaron Rodgers like lied about it. But the thing
yeah,
about it is
yeah,
that let's just be honest. Let's go into the thing where she got injured. You know, it's unfortunate what happened to her, but hey, man, people in the NFL, NBA, it's not their fault that they got hurt. But guess what happens? They get cut.
yeah,
It's you know, there's a lot of things that's been going on with her. You know, on and off the on and off the filming
yeah,
or on and off the set. You know how they say
uh-huh.
in football on and off the field, basketball on and off the court. She has been a distraction on and off the set. You know what I mean? She like it or not, like it. Rumors is that there's not a bunch of actors on the set that get along with her. You know, she kind of got a little big headed after everyone liked her from the first movie. Just sometimes you got to take somebody down a peg. You know,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
It just trips me out. Like, you got a big payday. You're gonna be like the face of the franchise, but you don't want to get a jab in the arm. So I guess whatever. That's I don't care. I care much less about it than the amount we're talking about it. So if it happens, whatever. Let's just get on. Let's just move forward. That's my thing. So I don't have
yeah,
anything else funny to say about that except uh, she got the bag and fumbled it, and somebody else gonna flip it and tumble it. So you know how that goes. We'll talk about it more in the future. Hopefully, not too much more because I'm about tired of talking about this woman. Uh, On to something more interesting and better. Um, did you know that the producer of the Spider-Man franchise asked Tom Holland if he wanted to be in Into the Spider Verse too, and Tom Holland's like, yeah, and then he was like, but I never heard anything else about it. To which I say, Amy
lying.
Pascal, what are you doing? Call this man. I want Tom Holland. I wanted him in the first one, but we
He
didn't
is
get him in the first
lying.
one.
He is lying.
I'm
This is
s
the same guy that said, "I would like to be in a movie with Toby and Andrew Garfield in the future." Stop lying.
here's my thing is, I totally believe him. And maybe
Oh, unbelievable.
maybe it just didn't work out story wise, which is fine to me. But
Don't believe him.
I'm telling you, it's animated. He could show up and do his lines in an afternoon, and that's that. You know.
No, I think he's gonna be live action.
Well, that's what I think. Well, maybe
I would rather have it that he's live action appear in the animated universe.
I want it. You know what I want it to look like? I want it to look like the Take on Me video from AHA from back in the '80s, where you rotate it around and it's animated, and then rotate it back in these live action.
Hmm.
That would be cool. But
Yeah,
look, I don't have a ton to say about this except fuck yes, please make this happen. What are y'all doing? Why do you not give us the things that we want? We clearly want this. Like, are you're already doing it with the rest of your Spider-Man stuff. You're giving us Venom and all this other, the crossovers and everything. Why would you not do this? Like,
I
it's
completely
it's
agree.
clearly the right thing to do. Just if like someone, anybody, call the people that are working on Into the Spider Verse 2 and make them open up a spot for Tom Holland because like this is ridiculous. I mean, come on, this I got nothing else to say about it except dang it, make that happen. um, Lottie, you agree? I'm assuming you agree.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to see him in the movie.
Let's
I
let's
would love
have
to
it.
see him.
Yeah. So uh, I hope we have more to say about that in the future. We will talk about it again if any more news comes up. Congratulations are in order to the cast and crew of Aquaman 2 because they have wrapped filming, and which is that's awesome. But also, where are the people that are leaking pictures? They're leaking 1,000,001 pictures of the Flash. I've seen nothing else from Aquaman 2, and this makes me very upset because what are you guys doing? supposed to be showing me everything, everything single aspect of this movie before it comes out. Um, that said, this is great news. DC, as I like to say, getting their shit together, uh, especially on a movie that has, let's just say, it's got a lot to live up to. It made over $1 billion. Uh, a lot of people like to. I know there are a few people I've actually. Can you believe it? I've met some people in the real world that don't like Aquaman, and I don't know what to
Like the
say to.
movie,
Yeah, they
the
don't like the. They
movie.
did not like the first Aquaman. It's very strange. Like, who are
I
these
mean,
people?
some people they're just certain movie they don't like. You know
Some
what I
people
mean?
just don't like fun because that's all the movie was fun. Like, they just like, man, you know what? Not a big fan of fun. I'm just gonna go over here and read my super serious, graphic novel in which people in capes don't do anything fun at all. I mean, come on. That's uh, yeah. There's people that don't like, but you know me. I really loved it. I've watched it again probably a few months ago. It's great, and so it's awesome to me to hear that they've finished filming and apparent we talked about it before. They're doubling down on the awesome of the first one. So let's go. It's all I can say is let's go. I'm
Yeah, I'm
looking forward
excited
to
for it.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff. Really, that's really what I want. And also how are they going to kind of like integrate the other DCU things that are going on, which Black Adam is clearly supposed to be within the DCEU. I want to see how they plan to integrate all that stuff. Um, but again, congratulations to them, and we hope to see more behind the scenes and stuff going on in the future. Last bit of news. This is I hate to end it on a downer, but this is really just to give us more of an opportunity to, um, I guess, sort of honor a person, and that is the comic artist George Perez, who, if you're an old school comic fan, you are aware of who this guy is. He's worked in DC Comics, did a lot of stuff. In fact, I'd say there's a bunch of art that you've probably seen on T-shirts or whatever from like this we call the Silver Age in the '70s and '80s. He worked on Teen Titans, and that's one of his big runs in comics. Also, Nightwing. Um, if you looked at his art, you'll recognize a lot of that, Silver Age look that he had. Very well respected, well liked with comic book fans. Most people who are in the pop culture superhero things probably won't know this guy. Like we often don't really know the artists and the writers who originate the stories that we turn around and love on film. So this is a good opportunity to get to know who this guy is. But why am I saying all this? Because he revealed that he has inoperable cancer, and diagnosis is few months to half a year to live. Um,
Hmm.
and apparently he has opted out of chemo and all that stuff. Um, just because
How
people
old is
should.
he now?
Let me see. He is. Let me see if I can find this age without having to ask Wikipedia. Oh, probably gonna have to ask Wikipedia. Wikipedia, tell me how old
Oops.
is George Perez? He is 67 years old, and that is
Mm.
really unfortunate. Um,
Yeah.
very unfortunate. But this happens. That's the other thing is cancer doesn't give a shit about how old you are or anything like that.
Nope.
And I think it's pancreatic cancer, so that's one of the least survivable of the cancers. I just wanted to talk about it, just to put his name out there. I'm aware of who he is. I haven't read a ton of stuff by him, but I have read some things he's done. particularly Nightwing, and he's just one of the greats. He's one of the greats, and the prolific. He's a guy who made a living drawing comic books. Um, and so that means he did a lot of work that a lot of people know and are aware of. And I think he retired a few 2 or 3 years ago from the comics industry in general, but it put in a lot of work over decades. And I just want to show some respect and just kind of love for uh, one of the people that laid foundations for the things that we love and that we're talking about right now.
Yep, man. It's he lived a good life. Unfortunately, it's not going to be as long as he will want. But hey, him and Stan Lee can be up there and and make some godly comic books, man. And entertain Jesus and God up there. Comic book writing doesn't stop on just this earth. You keep writing when you get up there too, man. So you know,
Yeah, and I think that I think that we have to kind of not just give credit to these creators, but also to just, like I said, honor what they've done, over the course and how they've shaped these things that we love, that we've, they've been the people that help us to, help the people that create the movies and things to understand, these various characters and everything. And being a comic artist, it's not a glamorous job. It can be rewarding in the sense that people like, oh, I loved your comic and I love this and I love that. But it's not exactly glamorous as you know more people know who James McAvoy is, um, playing Professor X than know the artist that drew him for so long, right? And and we talk about people getting credit and getting paid and all that other stuff. So and we got to give this guy his flowers, while he's alive. So
hmm
I actually, and like I said, this is kind of a down thing, but I just encourage people to go and check out his work, um, all of his work on, the various digital comics platforms, or go buy them, in the store or any of that stuff, and enjoy them and appreciate the art and what this man brought to the table, the enjoyment of comics. All right, so again, we say, I guess, Godspeed to George Perez while we still have him.
Amen.
Let's just say respect and appreciation for all that work, and over the years.
Amen.
So on that note, we have come to the end of our news for the week. I'm sure we missed some things that maybe you guys want us to talk about, or maybe you think that should have been involved in our news. And if you have that, get down to the comment section, let us know, or you can hit us up, supernotfunnyshow at gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter, and we'll chop it up, talk about it. Maybe we'll even cover the news item that you mentioned. So it's time for the main topic, of today's episode, and that is, of course, Hawkeye episode 4. The
Yep.
wild Yelena appears. We got the
Who's that widow?
it's like Black Widow uses Stinger. It's super effective. Yeah, that's right. And maybe that's a spoiler, but God, we already said like months ago she was going to be in this, so no big spoiler. So Florence Pugh does indeed show up in this episode. A very short episode, in fact, I'd say. Ladi, like I was surprised. I was not just surprised at how short it was, but like for being the fourth episode, I want to say not a lot, not a ton happened, but until the very end of the episode.
Jeez, episode was short. Probably the shortest episode I've like when it like Marvel. Probably I would say the shortest live action like fiction comic bookish show that I've seen this year. Like before I knew it, it was over, and it's still like how can I even really sum up what really like you know the episode was good. I enjoyed it. It was a good episode. Um, it had a little bit. It had a little bit of adding characters. Adding stuff to the story that we didn't know about certain characters. Had a little bit of a flashback moment. Didn't see it visually, but it was spoken, and we kind of knew that who's that Elena was going to show up.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, it was a good episode. Just wish it was a little bit longer. Like I would have liked a nice flashback. Like honestly, I think they dropped the ball a little bit right there, and they had a perfect setup to show like a mini flashback, and they didn't do it. I don't know
Yeah.
why. You know,
Probably because they didn't want to pay. They don't want to pay.
yeah,
They don't want to pay
and
for it.
and probably during that the time they were filming, her and we all know the person let's just say Scarlett Johansson was kind of pissed off at Marvel at the
Well,
time. So
I
I
don't. Well, I don't think that was what was necessary because this was all filmed like last year. A lot of this
oh it was
was filmed last year or earlier in this year before any of that happened. It's really more of a excuse me. It's really more of an issue of like I said, money and availability. That's that's usually when someone's not in something and you think they should be. It's money
yeah
or availability. And I don't think they needed to do it. Honestly, it would have been nice. I would have taken it,
yeah
but I think that just Clint talking about it was good. I love the idea of the shot that his greatest shot was the one he didn't take.
yeah
That's awesome. And I think that also it's sort of telling you something. I think that is telling you something about Clint that is going to probably pay off later on in the episode. And I'll mention that when we talk spoilers. But I think it's going to pay off something I speculated on regarding, Echo later on in the episode, later on in the series. I do think that this. I don't want this is I don't want to say that they treaded water. I don't think that that's what happened. I think this was an opportunity to actually take the teamwork building that happened at the end of the last episode and kind of build it up even more in this episode.
yeah
As for I love the fact that Kate, she seems to be, and then maybe it's just because she's fresh faced and hadn't had to deal with a lot of the crap that Clint has gone through, but she seems to be more emotionally balanced, but also intuitive as far as making connections with people, and that
yeah
despite his his gruff nature and all that, she is getting through to him. And I also think that something we haven't said yet is that Hawkeye's reluctant to make another connection like that with someone professionally because the last one he had ended badly and it hurt and it still hurts and
yeah
you can see the hurt on him uh, as he's every time he has to acknowledge Natasha's absence.
yeah
Um, so I think that like that was a lot of that went on in the episode and I think it was very strong. And then of course we get the big action bit at the end. That was really fun. That's to me that's what it really boils down to. That this show has been fun. Like
yeah
like I haven't felt like I haven't felt heaviness out of it except whenever we're talking about Clint's his emotional state and how he's dealing with one of the greatest losses of his life. But as far as like the actual action, everything, it's just fun. It's a fun thing. I wanted more out of this episode than that we got. But what we did get, I did like it. I liked it quite a bit. It's if I had to, if I had to put it anywhere in the 4 episodes, it's not. It's somewhat below the previous episode, and it's above the other two, but only just a little bit. And so overall, I'm continuing to love this series, and I have high hopes. And in fact, I'll just say high expectations for the final 2 episodes,
Yeah.
because there's only 2 episodes left, so they got a shit ton to do, as far as bringing it all together. And I think they're going to bring it home. But man, they've got quite an exercise. So. But you want to go ahead and talk some spoilers, because I don't think there's a ton of them, but they're significant.
Yeah.
So, um, before we get to the obvious spoiler, what the fuck is going on with that Rolex? I'm trying to figure that Rolex out. What's so fucking special about it? It's the vintage
Isn't
Rolex.
isn't that what's his name? Iron Man's?
Was it? Was it?
I
Was
think
it?
that's Iron Man's watch.
Because if it is, uh, it's what's special about it. Maybe that's my question. What's so special about it that someone should have it? I mean, it's interesting to me that um this kind of says to me something about who's cleaning up superhero sites, and what are they doing with the things they clean up, because it's ended
Yeah.
up in an auction and everything. And like, this is one of those situations where superheroes kick ass and save the day, and they fail to kind of follow up on anything that happens. And remember, like, he shot that big ass arrow. Who's gonna clean that arrow up off of that bridge? Just to get away. It was awesome, but you're also like, that seems like a overkill thing to do. And the Avengers are sort of on that shit where they're just like, all right, we beat the shit out of them. Let's go home. Someone else will clean it up, and someone else stole that fucking Rolex. So I I was just like,
It's
why
it's
why
it's
and
like
why does Echo have it?
it's like Superman leaving his ship completely unguarded and just leaving it there for people to just walk into.
Yeah, it's it's just kind of crazy that's what's going on, and that Echo wanted it for something, but for what? The other thing, the obvious uh, spoiler, and we spoiled it already, but Yelena, that fight on the rooftop, I
Yeah.
I felt so bad for Kate. I
She
felt
was so out of her depth.
I was like, you don't belong in this fight. Like, you have not, as they say, you haven't had enough reps you haven't had enough or what do they say in football? You haven't had enough snaps.
Yeah,
The-
she hasn't had him. She was up there just getting her ass kicked, just tossed all over the damn ceiling. He's like, just get out of here. She's like, no, I'm coming back. And he's like, no, the fucking widow.
I lo-
Take your ass
yeah,
home.
I loved watching it. I was like, Sam Fisher, what are you doing? Why are you fighting Hawkeye? That's a deep cut reference if for you
Yeah.
gamers. Sam Fisher, what are you doing? Um, Yes. Oh my gosh. The only person on there who had any business fighting Yelena was Clint. Every,
Yeah.
the because Echo's. Here's my thing. I'm not taking anything away from Echo. Obviously she's got ass kicking in her bones.
The
But
fact that
man,
she was able to take two of them motherfuckers in the chest and pull it off, there's something up with this chick. There's something up with her.
I mean, like she's sort of like sort of taskmaster-ish. That's her. So she's got skills. So yeah, she has the ability to have skills. But I mean, Yelena was just like, bitch, get out of my way. I'm trying to get to Hawkeye. Get out of my way. You're bothering me. Which was it turning into
Hmm.
like a three front fight was interesting. But I love the fact that everything about Yelena is completely on character because she very easily could have killed. She could have killed Kate to like 2 times, and she
Yeah.
just didn't. And
Yeah.
and that whole little yeah, don't shoot. And it's like you know we saw that look. She's
Yeah.
like
You're getting.
don't think about it. Just put that little bow down. It, it
But
was
it was so funny that it's so clearly like a stunt double that they're using. And I was just like, come on, they could have got a stunt double that at least was like her like thick like muscularness. It was completely two different body types. I
yeah.
was just like,
I accept it. Look, we have to accept it. Florence Pugh is not going to be doing all them stunts.
oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
It's just I
I
do, but don't hey listeners, don't take this away from her. I still have a huge crush on her. Still have a huge crush.
Florence Pugh, she's great. I which so part a little I'm a little disappointed actually in the episode in the sense that there's so little of her in it. Like it's really
Mm.
she's fighting. We don't get to me my favorite parts. I liked the fighting in Black Widow, but to me my favorite parts with Yelena in it was her talking and interacting with people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, one of the funniest jokes in the whole Black Widow was her talking about Natasha being a poser. I wanted some
Mm-hmm.
more. I want that. I wanted some of that. And as far as I can tell, we're gonna get that in the next episode. We're gonna get more of that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's you know, the fact that she was a cameo, but just barely in, and then she's like, bye. It's like, all right, I'll see you guys later. And she just like, you know, she does the whole little Neo jumping off the side of a roof thing. Like, okay. Um, and there wasn't enough echo in this episode either.
No.
Like not. She basically was like, "Why are you in my apartment? Let me be dressed." Right. So,
Get out my
not nearly
apartment.
enough. But I understand why there wasn't enough because we needed more. We needed more Clint and Kate, and also the the
I'm
whole
just gonna
little.
say it right. I'm just gonna say it right now. The mom was a B word for what she said about Black Widow.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he said, "What about
Well,
Natasha
the
Romanoff?
question
You
is,
B,
yeah.
you mother effing B."
The question is she a bad guy?
Who?
Is the mom a bad guy?
Oh, she's she's of course she
Because
is.
we know Jack is. You know, we know we.
Of course
I
she
mean,
is.
obviously he's swordsman, but is she a bad guy?
I mean, there's a reason why she got threatened. She's doing some shady stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's quite obvious.
Yeah.
And then she gets so a freaking Avenger comes into your household, and because I'm guessing she runs like uh
Well,
some
she
business that has to do with like defense or something.
well
Sort of.
she runs a security like firm like
So your daughter is with fucking an Avenger, and you're being a fucking asshole. Like,
well they was very casual like oh you're working together are you I'm like this doesn't bother you like she's like is this an Avengers level threat and when he's like no and she's like but y'all are still working together and she's just like she seemed very casual about it like it, maybe this is just oh we're rich people so we meet famous people all the time but just the fact that they weren't too bothered by it even when she was just like you know are you you know are you just like keep her out of danger and then she's like are you gonna drop it and that's the suspicious shit I was like wow you didn't say just leave my daughter out you just like just drop the whole thing
yeah,
so um sucks to be Kate if that's true because you know but she just doesn't know enough she thinks it's just Jack and you know, she's just like, "Oh, this is a reason why my mom can leave him, so I'll never have to have him as a
as a pappy,
stepdad." Yeah,
as a
but
pappy.
so all that being said, like I said, there's not a ton of spoiler in this. This was just a lot of character building and everything. But I think it's clear that there's going to have to be a one-on-one fight between Jack and Hawkeye, or Jack and I mean, Hawkeye, Jack and Clint, or Jack and and Kate. Because I think what of all the things we learned from that, from the episodes, that Kate needs a lot more experience.
Hmm.
She got the talent, and she's even got the mental, the mental game on. But her lack of experience, really is going to get her killed if she doesn't get it together.
Yep.
And also, is Hawkeye going to make it home for Christmas? It's Oh, and just for you, just a little bit of extra speculation. I've been seeing people talking about, uh, is Hawkeye's wife just his wife, or was she an ex agent?
She was
Cause,
an agent.
cause man, let me tell you what. I was like, she's in the family business. She literally knows everything. Like he comes home from work and he's like, yeah, so we killed this person and that person. She's on top of it. She's like her.
And didn't she speak German to
Yes,
him?
She's like Charlie and Charlie's Angels. For she's just like, all right, hey, Angels, Hawkeye, take your ass over there to do this particular job. And I'm like, man, she knows, she's on that shit. So people are asking, could she possibly be Mockingbird? Could she have been Mockingbird, who in the comics did end up marrying Clint?
Yeah.
So so is she secretly a badass? We don't know. Did she retire to have kids? I'm if it's true, that'd be cool. But like, oh man, they just have so much to do in these next two episodes, and I'm just like, man, you guys are better bring this train into the station because I'm on board. I'm on board. I'm happy. I think this show's great, but man, y'all got a lot to do for the next hour or
Yep.
next hour and 15 minutes, and you bet. Like, there's a lot of potential for disappointment here, especially because a certain gigantic crime lord uh, could be waiting in the wings. Uh,
The pen.
yeah, we gonna see. And if it's Vincent D'Onofrio, hey, you know where that could be going. So we're gonna see. I'm excited for next week is it's gonna be pivotal, and so we're gonna be here there for that. So either way, I think that's all of our thoughts for this episode, episode 4 of Hawkeye. So
Hmm.
what did you guys think about this episode of Hawkeye, and what did you think about what we had to say? Get down to the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. We'll chop it up, talk about Hawkeye, speculate, and all that fun stuff. And while you are in the clicking mood, do us a favor, get down there and hit that subscribe button. Join the Super Not Funny Show family. And of course, you can always hit the notification bell. It will let you know when we drop new content. And of course, I can't do the Super Not Funny Show Supercast just by myself. I guess I could, but it wouldn't be nearly as interesting without my good friend Ladi. So, Ladi, where can they reach you on social media?
Oh yeah, you could always find me on my Instagram. It is Anu Kinihun. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. And you could also follow me on my YouTube channel, which is Kinihun25. I'm currently streaming Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy video game. So you guys are into superheroes, watch the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a really good game. Funny. It's all hell. It's literally like I'm gonna just tell you right now, Maurice. We owe that game an apology. It is not the rejects. Like that move. It is almost like watching a movie. It is great. You'll enjoy it. So if you guys want to see it, come join the stream.
See it, but not play it yourself. All right. Well, you guys go there, show Lottie some love. Get those views up, get those subscribes up. That's all that good stuff. All right. Well, this has been the Supercast, episode 30. We're coming back next week to talk about Hawkeye, but most importantly, to talk about No Way Home, because we're gonna have this out. We're gonna have the new episode out after No Way Home, as premiered. We're excited as crap for that, as you can imagine. We're kind of beside ourselves with that, and we are gonna have a good review of that up, and of course Hawkeye. So next week, huge comic book nerd week for everybody, and we're gonna make sure to cover that. Until then, I have been MODOK Poupe, your resident fabricant and commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the video game designer, anime expert, and of course, lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.